Hey everyone, and welcome to another Go Go Muffin video. So today we're going to be talking about one of the biggest progression systems in the game, and that is of course the Melomon system. Melomon are a very deep system and contribute significantly to both your character's combat power and to your actual damage output, healing output, and tanking capabilities due to their many different passive skills. So it's a very important system and one that is very critical to understand exactly how it works and what the best practices are. So let's start with the very basics. Melomon unlocks around level 30, which is pretty early on in the overall character level progression. Once it's unlocked, you can get new Melomons from the Melody Summon, which is located here in your camp. So when you click on that, you have the Melody Summon menu, and these are all the Melomon you can summon. There's Legendary Melomon, there's Epic Melomon, and there's Rare Melomon. Now, Legendaries are the ones you're aiming for. They have really strong passive skills, and everyone is slightly different. Now, there is not any pity when it comes to Melomon, but here are the rates here. It's 2% for Legendary, 12.5% for Epic, and 85.5% for Rare. Now, there is this wish list, which is what is worth saving your summoning strings for. You get quite a few summoning strings, which are the Melomon summoning currency from events and so on. So it's best to save these for when this wish list event is active. Uh, my best understanding is that this comes once a month. And what this basically allows you to do is it allows you to select one of the legendary Melomon and put it as a rate up, which gives you a 50% chance whenever you uh, get a legendary that you'll get one of your rate up Melomon. So very important to have, and you need quite a lot of dupes of your Melomon for reasons that I will explain shortly. So it's quite important to take advantage of this wishlist system whenever possible. Now, you will also unlock at a slightly later point in the progression moves, which is another big part of the Melomon system. Now, moves are here next to the Melody Summon in the Create Moves menu. Now, in order to create moves, you have to gather these materials here, rune characters. There are a number of ways to get them. They're sometimes in packs in the store. You can also purchase them at a limited quantity 15 times daily, the same as artifact energy. But also, once a day at reset, you can see this countdown here to a blessing. You're going to have a number of these rune characters show up here in the menu that you can simply click and they'll go get added to your inventory here and you'll be able to use them. Now, there are quite a few moves that are out there, various stats from crit damage to evasion to attack to accuracy, and there's of course a best in slot for whatever your class is, whether you're DPS, healing, or tank, but we'll go through that shortly. So anyway, what's important to note is you collect these rune characters, then you go here and then you press auto, and the little muffin moves along, and depending on how far you get will determine the rarity of what drops here. And here's just a list. You can see there's quite a lot of moves in the game. And when you click here, you can see the rates. It does say in the ending phase it's a 36% chance to get legendary moves, but in practice it rarely feels like 36%. But anyway, that's how you get moves. Now let's go into the Melomon system. Actually, first, before we do that, I want to show you. So when you summon Melomons, you get also these. Let's see if I can show you. Sorry. You get fragments here. So when you summon a Melomon, you get fragments, and these fragments show up here. Now, once you've maxed out a Melomon, or when you have enough fragments in your inventory to max that Melomon out, you'll be able to then convert that Melomon's fragments into bells, which you can use in the first shop. Now, I'll show you, for example, here, this is one of the event Melomons. If I press convert, it converts it into these bells. So this is important, and I'll show you the first shop quickly. This is here in the Melomon menu at the top right, in the Melody Summon window, sorry. And here you can see the shop, which refreshes weekly with the Melomons that you can buy here. So if you see one you really want, you have enough bells, you can buy it. The legendaries normally cost 750. of these bells. You can also buy moves here by collecting these books, which also show up during the create moves system here. So moving on, whenever you're in the fragments menu and you click convert, you can be 100% sure that any Melomon that shows up here is already maxed. It means you have enough fragments to max out that Melomon, and you can safely press convert whenever you see this to get rid of its dupes and convert it into bells. So just wanted to point that out. Now let's actually dive into the Melomon menu here. So you have 3 Melomon equipped. You have your main Melomon here and 2 support Melomon, which unlock at a later level progression stage than the main one. I believe it's level 50 for the first support and level 70 for the second support. What's important to note is that the only thing that applies on the passive slots, the support slots, are stats. However, the main actually has these passive abilities. So let me explain how this works. Your Melomon has a main ability. That's the main ability that has a charge time, it has a duration, and while it's active, you get the bonus, the passive bonus. So for this one, Demon Hound, which is the best Melomon for almost everyone, pretty much all DPS classes, while the effect is active when triggering a crit hit or determination, increased damage by 72%, and when triggering both, the damage bonus stacks. So that's significant damage bonus. And you can see in the main screen here, this icon here next to your skills is your Melomon's main ability. So it uses it, it lasts for the duration listed, and then it goes on cooldown and recharges until it's ready again. So that's this main ability here. You can also equip 3 passive abilities. Now, these abilities you can take from any Melomon that you have already acquired. So you have, for example, right now I'm using 2 of these that are, kind of useful for the main story. But there are many choices here, and you can equip your legendary ones, epic ones, etc. Now, the third one here, you can see it says evolving. This one doesn't unlock until you get to a much later stage of evolution. The same for this slot here, which I'll explain shortly. And if you press this plus sign here, you can see the levels of evolution. So as your Melomon evolves, it actually changes shape. It becomes more evolved, more mature, all the way up to prime. So in order to activate your third passive ability here, you need to get it all the way to evolving, which is the second most advanced stage. So that's not going to be unlocked for quite some time. But you can have these first 2 equipped, which are very, very useful. So you can see here, I have both these passive skills equipped, and those will be used over time, whatever their cooldown is. These 2 support pets, none of this applies. None of their main skills or passive skills applies. The only thing that the supports are there for is as passive stat sticks. They are simply there for the stats, and they get stats from their upgrade level, from their star level, and from these moves. Now, I explained the moves already in the summon menu for them, but basically when you collect the moves, you can equip them to your Melomon here. There are 4 slots. One of them unlocks at the next evolution stage, which is unlocked at level 80 Shadow Lash, so not too far away. And you're basically, with moves, you have an attack slot, a defensive slot, and 2 support slots. Now, there are moves that are better than others. Generally speaking, for DPS, you're going to want to put, not this one, I'll show you. You're going to want to put crit damage, because this is one of the biggest sources of crit damage in the game. So if you run 3 crit damage moves, 1 on each of your 3 Melomon, all of those apply. So I know I said support, these passive skills don't apply, but these stats from the moves on all 3 of your Melomon apply. So that's very important. The most important stats from a DPS perspective, defensive, you would run evasion, crit damage in the attack slot, like I said, and then for your 2 supports, you would run your determination, superb expertise, and probably a crit rate 4th, unless you're already sitting at 35% crit rate from other sources, in which case you might run something else, maybe haste, for example, instead. So it's really up to your class, your current stage of progression, exactly what moves will be best in slot for you. But generally speaking, that's a rough guideline to follow. And of course, I'll explain more of this type of stuff in detail when I go into a more detailed build video for each class and a more detailed stats breakdown. Now, one thing that's very, very, very important to remember, because sometimes people ask, oh, hey, oh my God, I got this Melomon and gee, I invested into it and oh, what do I do now? Well, you should know that all moves and all Melomon can be freely reset anytime you want with getting all your resources back, and it costs nothing. So here, you can reset the Melomon's phase and level for free. Done. Click reset, you're good. Same for here. Star up, you don't like it? Click the reset button. You get everything back for free. Go to a move, you say, gee, I don't want to use this move anymore. Click this button. You get all the XP that you put into it back as well. So this is extremely useful, and I'm really actually quite happy that the devs included this because it allows you to freely experiment with different builds and just not be punished by trying different things out. So don't worry if you've put stats, if you've put XP into the wrong move, or if you've put these pet food into the wrong Melomon. You can just press the reset button and everything will be back to normal. So there are some pets that are better than others. Of course, like I mentioned, Demon Hound is universally the best DPS pet. I keep saying pet, I mean Melomon, of course. Um, and he's really, really good. I've explained why, because of his damage increase when both crit hit and determination stacks, as well as when they both hit individually. As well, another really good DPS pet is Colt, which gives a, I'll show you here, sorry. Colt gives Echo, which is an all damage increase and a further damage increase depending on how far away you are from the enemy, which is very, very powerful. So let me just go through and make sure I've covered everything. I'm pretty sure that's getting close to everything that you need to know. Um, let's see, I'm going to just go through and double check. Yeah, I mean, that's basically everything. So, I mean, in summation, there's the best three pets for DPS right now. Like I said, Demon Hound plus Colt, and then Blade Hound as well for his Sharpness of Claw special skill, which, as you can see here, when your HP is above 50%, increases damage dealt to enemies with below 50% HP by 110%. He's level 10, but this is a significant damage increase, as you can see. Generally speaking, we have done quite a lot of testing, and we can say with certainty that damage percentage far outweighs attack percentage pets. And so when it comes to Melomon, you should always prioritize sources of damage percentage as a DPS instead of attack percentage. Now, there are some images floating around people have been sharing of the quote-unquote best in slot Melomon for each class. Take that with a grain of salt, because if you see Thunder there, it's probably not better than one of the damage pets. So anyway, this basically sums up the Melomon system. If there's anything I've missed, if you have any questions, put it in the comments below. This is a very important system to get on top of and contributes hugely to your character's power and progression. And hopefully you learned something today and made the system a little clearer on how you should approach it. So that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you liked the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video is going to be released. And if you haven't already, make sure to join our Discord. It's discord.gg/natto. We have plenty of channels, lots of active players in there. It's loads of events and giveaways going on. So we'd love to see you in there. Anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you in the next video.